Hey, this is The Walk. There currently is, and frankly always has been, a lot of different opinions out there about the true identity of Jesus. And a lot of that has to do with the way people perceive him. One of the things that's kind of interesting is sort of the tense with which people sort of identify and associate Jesus with. Those people that would look at Jesus and believe in him and choose to follow him would typically refer to Jesus in the present tense. They will say things like, Jesus is such and such. People who don't identify themselves as Christ followers will oftentimes refer to Jesus in the past tense, saying things like Jesus was such and such. Now, one of the things that gets universally agreed upon by both those that would say Jesus is and those that would say Jesus was, is that he was a great teacher. As a matter of fact, I've had conversations with people before who don't believe in any kind of deity associated with Jesus, say things like, I don't think that Jesus was God, but I think that he was a great teacher. So why is it that everybody kind of agrees Jesus was a great teacher? What was it that made him in that same kind of teaching sort of class with the great ones from history like Socrates or Gandhi? Well, when he would teach, history records people would respond like this. When Jesus concluded his address, the crowd burst into applause. They had never heard teaching like this. It was apparent that he was living everything he was saying. Quite a contrast to their religion teachers. This was the best teaching they had ever heard. Jesus taught some really amazing things. He passed on incredible wisdom in his teachings. That's something that great teachers do. He was very inspiring in his delivery. Great communication is something else that great teachers do. He also was incredibly instructive, taking very heady material and presenting it in a way that both highly educated and frankly completely uneducated listeners could both break apart and come to understand. That was yet another way that he was a great teacher. You take any one of those individual things and you apply them to Jesus and he would qualify as a great teacher. You take all of those things and combine them together, then yeah, he probably earned a spot in the teaching Hall of Fame. But those attributes, those aspects were not what caused people to follow Jesus. But there was something else that came out of his teaching that revealed something about his character that was so inspiring to people. It was apparent that he was living everything he was saying. And one more thing, the motivation that he had for doing all of that was the people that he was teaching. He wanted them to get it so that they could be transformed themselves. Jesus says this in the Bible, I told you these things for a purpose, that my joy might be your joy, and your joy wholly mature.